Good day, everyone. So this is gonna be a trade recap of my trade last Friday. Particularly, I wasn't able to fill my trade, so we're gonna do a trade recap today. So, um, going into the day, this one was just, if you can see, this is a paper account. Wasn't even able to trade on my actual account because today's session was mid at most. But when I saw this, I wasn't able to switch to my actual account because I wasn't looking for trades anymore. But my actual account was open till 10 a.m. open, particularly up to like 10:15, like at this candle. But I was still watching, but I wasn't looking for trade anymore. Then I swap on my paper when we reached this high, and I was like, yeah, um, I'm just gonna be watching it a day. So here for this particular session, going in the day, we just pumped the upside. For me, this long is valid because we're just extremely bullish, and I do understand why did some people, why some people took this long, but for me it was a no one. It was a no trade one. For me, the stop loss was just really big, but obviously that doesn't really matter. Get the 101 here over 101, but it's just I'm just looking for more. I think ES already took this lows. Yeah, I think we already had an S&P here, but I think yeah, I'm pretty sure we already had an S&P on this low right here that I marked out. So there's really no reason for us to keep on going lower. We're at all-time highs, hence we're pretty bullish. It took as long, so we were done in the day, 6 minutes into market open. And when I just saw this pump in and never open a 5 minute gap. I mean, like, it did open a 5 minute gap, but I was looking for deeper retrace. I was like, nah, I'm gonna wait for something more because it's pretty much, I think it's like a 3 minute deep retrace. Yeah, it just, the more premium 3 minute did fill it all the way. 5 minute did fill. There was like a 15-second version here, but I didn't like it. And at this time, we're at all-time high for this. So I wasn't really having any clear draw liquidity target at this point if I was in a long here. So I just waited, and marked out this gap right here. You can see this was like I think a 5 minute low. Um, yeah, it was a 5 minute low that I was waiting to get tapped before 10 a.m. opens. I think it was around this low. So I was like, all right, what if 10 a.m. opens, manipulates this pretty much this little trend line liquidity here, and also like until 5 minute, I'm gonna take longs even though there's no draws to aim higher, but I'm just feeling now we're at all time highs. I'm just gonna keep on pumping higher. But we didn't do that. The 10 a.m. just pumped to the upside. Didn't really do anything. It generated the liquidity here, but it didn't really tap to some sort of higher time frame gap. So it was a no trade for me. I was just watching here, and I was like, when this particular inversion happened, and it just started chopping around like 10:15, I was like, no, I'm not gonna trade anymore. I was still with my account, and then like right about here when we started become bullish, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna switch to my paper. Then around here, I was able to switch to my paper. And I was like, so then I take this trade. But I was like, no, I'm not gonna short all-time highs. Just mechanically, it's pattern wise, it looks pretty good, but this is literally the pick. So why short it? But if you did short it, I mean, you would have banked. But anyways, um, when I marked out this until 15 minute gap, I was like, I just really know this until 15 minute gap is gonna hold. That's all gonna be good condition for longs. And at that particular moment, I was like, when we take this until 15 minute gap, I'm gonna be taking this trade no matter what. I was then deciding to take it on my actual account to, maximize on it. But I wasn't uh, able to switch to my account because when this was happening, I was like, all right, I'm gonna wait for this until 15 minutes. And then when we edged it, if we could actually look at ES at 10:35, so let's take a peek on where ES was at that time. If we went at 10:30, mark out until 15 minutes here again. Well, on the 10:30, 10:30. Oh, that's not a line right there. So it was until 15 minute here. At this time, the until 15 minute gap was already a 15 minute intermediate low. I mean, this one right here. So I think a 15 minute gap was like right here. So if this was 10:35, we would switch back to NQ. Uh, take a second. So at that time, 10:35, they're pretty much like simultaneous. Um, This one took until 15 minutes at 10:36. I just hit at 10:31. So if you look back on where ES was, 10:31 edged it as well and took the low at 10:35. So I was like, that's really good. You know, they're pretty at the same call this kind of like same time. They're on the same page. There's not so much, you know, being uncorrelated. But I really love to see some SMT in this play. I was like, all right, we edge this. This is now going to be a drawn liquidity to go lower. If you could actually look here, we all have this unfilled 3 minute gap. Got this unfilled 3 minute gap. I was like, what's going to happen here is when, you know, in my point of view, this is what I can only see. We left relatively equal low as well until 50-minute gap. At that moment, I knew that this is going to be a strong drawn liquidity. And we have until 3 minute gap open. I'm seeing that, all right, so like the price is moving like this, bang, bang, then this is like the high. Then we just went lower, then it created like relatively low. So I just know we're gonna go back to this until 3 minute gap and just take that low and looking for this kind of entry, right? This is until 15-minute gap, and this is the relative equal low, and we're just gonna retrace to this until 3 minutes, which happened here. So like this is what virtually happened. This is what I literally just stated. I called it out, but I wasn't able to film it. I was like, all right, if this happens and we have an SMT on this until 15-minute gap, I'm taking it. But in this case, we didn't have an SMT, so I was like, I'll be taking it. So I was like, all right, so if, you know, the only chance I'm going to be taking it at that particular time is if we're going to have this so good of a displacement, like as soon as we take the low. All right, so let's mark out this candle right here. Okay, let's take this out. I was like, when we get a 3 minute close, particularly like here in this 39 candle, I'm taking it. Like, we got this inversion. I don't really mind. I want this next candle to go here. If we get this here, like on, you know, like this 3 minute, I was actually already on my TradeAway account. I will execute it on my actual account. To get the 3 minute close like from here, and then like my trade would be like this, like stop loss like right. So let's just say like right here, and keep it like that. 2.1 R, 30 point TP, 15 point stop. So I'm more or less gonna risk here like 3 minis, 3 minis, and be done in the day. Actually, I'm more likely to go 3 minis, more like 2 minis, and get a under 1200 days. So more like this. I'm gonna take that trade, and I was like literally holding. I was thinking about 2 or 3 minis at that time, but when I saw this candle here, failed to get the treatment because like this particular candle was like so slow to close. I was like, nope, I'm not gonna be able to take it. So when I failed to get a 3 minute, I was like, I'm back on the trade on my paper account. So I was back on my paper account. I was waiting for a retrace. I was planning to just limit order here, but when I see this retrace, I would just market orders, put my stop loss here, aim for 30 point stop, 30 point TP, and back on the day. So that's pretty much my trade on Friday. I wasn't able to trade on that. Now, definitely looking to come back the coming weeks to come. Definitely the price is actually, in my opinion, is pretty good. Some people have been, you know, saying bad, but for me, it's pretty good. Overall, we just really need to adapt on what the market's presenting. For some people, this was pattern trade, but for me, the narrative was very extremely bullish. I didn't take anything here because I personally love at least 15-minute gaps or when you go to 5 minute gaps. I want us to reach equilibrium. At 15-minute gaps, we don't need to reach equilibrium or tap at equilibrium, but on a 5 minute, I want us to tap the equilibrium to 5 minute and reject from there. So here we had a 15 minute, and then I just really didn't have the trigger. I was like, my condition literally presented itself, but I was like, I'm gonna take the 1 minute version if you get an SMT. We didn't get an SMT, so I was like, okay, I'm only gonna wait for the high stop inversion in this leg, which was 3 minute. We failed to inverse to 3 minute by how many points? Like pretty much like 50 points. So it was a lot. So I didn't take it. Went back to this paper account. Um, went back to the paper account. Then let this 1 minute just ride and just like watch it. But when I saw it dipping, I just bought the dip. What the stop loss where it should be. I didn't even order it. I market ordered it. I don't know if you could even see. If it's like it's a market order. This was like my paper account that I don't really mind. I think it's orders history. Um, oh, it doesn't say if it's like market or what, but Yeah, it's a W on that one. It's my blowers account. I just play around with this account. You can see really big wins and stuff. So it's gonna be it, guys. Nothing really much. That's gonna be a trade recap. Peace out.